Good morning to all. I am Yoganand, Assistant Professor, EC Department, PSR Engineering College. In this semester, I handle the course is Antennas and Microwave Engineering. So, in this course, in the first unit, we may see about the Introduction to Microwave System and Antennas. So, in this unit, we may see the first topic is Microwave Frequency Bands. So, before we are going to see about the microwave frequencies bands, first of all we may see about the what is microwave. So, here the microwave, the term microwave refers to alternating current signals with frequencies between 300 MHz and 30 GHz with a corresponding electrical wavelength between 1 meter and 1 centimeter. Here the major bands are, that is ultra high frequency, that frequency range is that is 0.3 GHz to 3 GHz, and the second one is super high frequency, the frequency range is 3 GHz to 30 GHz, and the third one is extra high frequency, the frequency range is 30 GHz to 300 GHz. So, these are the three major bands in microwave engineering. Once again I repeat this. So, microwave means, the term microwave refers to alternating current signals with frequencies between 300 MHz, that is 3 into 10 to the power 8 Hz, and 30 GHz, that is 3 into 10 to the power 10 Hz with a corresponding electrical wavelength between 1 meter and 1 centimeter. So, in microwave engineering there are three major band of frequency used this. Here the first one is ultra high frequency, that is UHF. The frequency range is 0.3 to 0.3 GHz to 3 GHz. The next one is super high frequency. The frequency range is 3 GHz to 30 GHz, and the third one is extra high frequency, that is the frequency range is 30 GHz to 300 GHz. So, next we may see about the EM spectrum. So, EM spectrum means that is a electromagnetic spectrum. So, electromagnetic spectrum, it consists of the entire range of the electromagnetic frequency, entire range of the electromagnetic frequencies. We may see about the first one is that is a extremely low frequency, and the second one is super low frequency, and the third one is very low frequency, and low frequency, medium frequency, high frequency, very high frequency, ultra high frequency, super high frequency, extremely high frequency, and infrared, light, X-rays, gamma rays, and cosmic rays. So, these are the operating in the particular frequency range, that is called as a EM spectrum. So, once again repeat this, EM spectrum means it consists of the entire range of the electromagnetic frequency. So, here that is extremely low frequency, the range is that is 30 Hz to 300 Hz, and another one is super low frequency. The super low frequency, the frequency range is 300 Hz to 3 GHz, and low frequency, very low frequency, the range is 3 kHz to 300 kHz, and low frequency, the frequency range is 300 kHz to 3 low frequency 30 kHz to 300 kHz, and medium frequency, that is 300 kHz to 3 MHz, and high frequency range is 3 MHz to 30 MHz, and very high frequency 30 MHz to 300 MHz, ultra high frequency 300 MHz to 3 GHz, and super high frequency 3 GHz to 30 GHz, extremely high frequency 30 GHz to 300 GHz. This range of frequency, it consists of the microwaves, and infrared waves frequency range is 300 GHz to 430 terahertz, and light frequency is 430 terahertz to 1000 terahertz, and X-rays is 10 to the power 18 Hz, and gamma rays 10 to the power 20 Hz, and cosmic rays is 10 to the power 28 Hz. So, next we may see about the microwave bands. So, microwave bands also, and that is it's operating at the particular frequency. The frequency range is gigahertz. It's starting from the gigahertz. It consists of A band, B band, C band, D band, E band, F band, G band, H band, I band, J band, K band, and L band, M band. Okay. So, here the A band range is 0.1 GHz to 0.25 GHz, and B band, the frequency range is 0.25 GHz to 0.5 GHz, and C band, the frequency range is 0.5 GHz to 1 GHz, D band 1 GHz to 2 gigahertz, and E band 2 gigahertz to 3 gigahertz, F band that is 3 gigahertz to 4 gigahertz, G band 4 gigahertz to 6 gigahertz, I band that is 8 gigahertz to 10 gigahertz, J band 10 gigahertz to 20 gigahertz, K band 20 gigahertz to 40 gigahertz, L band 40 gigahertz to 60 gigahertz, and finally M band 60 gigahertz to 100 gigahertz. These are the microwave bands in US new military. So another one is that is IEEE microwave frequency bands. So IEEE microwave frequency bands is starting from the frequency range is gigahertz also. Here high frequency, that frequency range is 0.003 gigahertz to 0.030 hertz, and very high frequency, that operating frequency range is 0.030 gigahertz to 0.300 gigahertz, and ultra high frequency is starting from 0.300 gigahertz to 1 gigahertz. And next L band. So the L band is the frequency range is 1 gigahertz to 2 gigahertz. S band the frequency range is 2 gigahertz to 4 gigahertz, and C band the frequency range is 4 gigahertz to 8 gigahertz, and S band the frequency range is 8 gigahertz to 12 gigahertz. KU band the frequency range is 12 gigahertz to 18 gigahertz, and K band frequency range is 18 gigahertz to 27 gigahertz. KA band the frequency range is 27 gigahertz to 40 gigahertz, and millimeter the frequency range is 40 gigahertz to 300 gigahertz, and finally sub-millimeter, this is a greater than 300 gigahertz. So these are the microwave frequency bands. Next we may see about the microwave applications. So in microwave applications, the major applications in the field of communications and the field of radar and industrial and biomedical, and finally heating. Okay, so in communications in particularly we can use the terrestrial and satellite, and radar in particularly we can use the civilian. In civilianly we can use the aircraft control, aircraft navigations, and ship safety, space vehicles, remote sensing, and law enforcement. In military side we can use it in surveillance, navigations, guidance of weapons, electronic welfare, and we can use it in industrial and biomedical also. So in industrial we can use it in process and control, and drying, curing for biomedical applications, treatment of elastomas and waste treatments, and that is monitoring, imaging, hyperthermia. These are the applications for industrial and biomedical used in microwave engineering, and finally heating by industrial side and household also. So these are the main applications of microwave. So next we may see about the advantages. So generally what are the benefits by using the microwave signal or microwave engineering? So by using the microwaves, the main benefit is it can carry a large quantity of information. It's operating in the high frequency. Okay, this is the main benefit by using the microwave signal. The first benefit is it can carry a large quantity of information. It operating at the high frequency. The next benefit is it is a high frequency. It's a low wavelength. It's act as a small antennas. Okay, so next one is easily propagated, and fewer repeaters are necessary for amplifications and increase the bandwidth available. So these are the benefits for microwave engineering. Next we may see about the drawbacks of microwave engineering. The first drawback is it's difficult to analyze and design, because you can use the high frequency, so it's very difficult to design the microwave source or microwave components or antenna. It's very difficult to design or analyze also, and the measuring techniques are also more difficult, and it's difficult to implement the conventional components at microwave frequency. For example, what are the microwave components? There is a resistors, capacitors, inductors. These are the microwave frequencies. There is a conventional components. It's very difficult to implement by using the microwave signals. Okay, so next. Next we may see about the antennas. Okay, so that is we can see about the antenna basics. So before we are going to see about the antenna basics, what is antenna? So antenna is a transducer. Okay, antenna is a transducer. So transducer means what? It converts the one form to another form. So antenna is like a transducer. It converts the electrical signal to electromagnetic signal. So it acts as a transducer. Okay, so here that antenna is, it radiates the electromagnetic signals. It radiates the electromagnetic signals. So in communication system, there is a very important tool for communications by using the antenna. Also antenna is a important tool for communications. It acts as a transmitter and also it acts as a receiver. Okay, so in antenna we can use it in the transmitter side also and the receiver side also. Okay, so communication means what? That is informations can be transferred from one place to another place. So here the antenna acts as a transmitting antenna and a receiver antenna is also acts as a receiving side. Okay, so in transmitting antenna it transmits the electromagnetic signal. Okay, it converts the electrical signal to electromagnetic signal. In receiving antenna it receives the electromagnetic signal, it converts the electromagnetic signal to electrical signal. This is the communication. So the antenna is a very important tool for communications. Okay, so next we will see here there is a transmitter. So this is an antenna and antenna is an electrical conductor also. It is a system of conductors. So there is a transmission and reception. This is the transmitter side, this is the reception side. So in this the transmission side we can use the transmitting antenna, in reception side we can use the receiving antenna. So in both sides we can use it for antennas here. So here transmission means it radiates the electromagnetic energy into free space. We can use the transmitter, it acts as a antenna. There is a transmitting antenna and there is a airspace is the medium, and reception side we can use the receiving antenna. So the receiving antenna it collects the electromagnetic energy from a free space. Okay, this is the basic concept of antennas. Next is the role of antennas. The role of antennas, serve four primary functions. The first function is there is a spatial filter, the second one is polarization filter, and the third one is impedance transformer, and the fourth one is propagation mode adapter. Okay, so in first we may see about the spatial filter. So spatial filter is nothing but it's directly depending upon the sensitivity. Okay, next polarization filter. So the polarization is depending upon the sensitivity, and impedance transformer, there is a transition between free space and transmission line. The last function is propagation mode adapter. So the propagation mode adapter it's from free space fields to guide waves. So for example transmission line, waveguides, these are the example for propagation mode adapter. So the main role of antennas, there are four primary functions is there. The first one is spatial filter, polarization filter, impedance transformer, propagation mode adapter. So the spatial filter means it's directly depending upon the sensitivity. Polarization filter means that polarization depending upon the sensitivity. Impedance transformer means there is a transition between free space and transmission line. Next one is propagation mode adapter. So the propagation mode adapter from free space fields to guide waves. So that is for example transmission line and waveguide. So these are the example. There is a spatial filter. There is a in spatial filter. In spatial filter, this is the we can use the directive antenna. So this is the basic of the radiation pattern of directive antenna. So in directive antenna, we can use the spatial filter concept. The next, this is the polarization filter. So the polarization filter, this is the example. H is a antenna's effective height, whose units are expressed in meters by using the polarization filter concept. Next, we can use the dipole antenna. So here we can calculate the there is a intrinsic impedance of free space. That value is 376.7 ohm. This is the standard value. The formula we can use the mu naught by epsilon. So the mu naught by epsilon is 125. So the value is 376.7 ohm. So this is the intrinsic impedance. In characteristic impedance of transmission line, that is a typical value of Z naught is 50 ohm. Okay. Next. There is a propagation mode adapter. So there is a transmitter receiving concept we can use it for the propagation mode. Next antenna types. There are so many type of antenna is there. The first one is there is a end fires antennas, loops antennas, dipole antennas, stubs antennas, slant antennas, apertures antennas. These are the main antennas. So in end fire antennas, it can be classified as polyrods, helices, Yagi-Udas, log periodics, conical spirals. And dipole antenna, it can be classified as folded dipoles, arrays. In arrays, it can be classified as curtains, W8JKS, and folded dipole antenna, it can be classified as twin lines, that is V's, long wires, in V's, biconical, in long wires, diverge and romping antenna. So next there is a stubs antenna. So stubs antenna, it can be classified as conicals. Next slants is classified as batches and arrays. Next apertures it can be classified as lenses antennas, spiral antennas, horns antennas and reflectors. So reflector antenna, it can be classified as flat reflectors antenna, corner reflector antenna, parabolic reflector antenna. So here the parabolic and flat, it can be classified as randoms and FSS. Okay, this is the symbolic structure of helical antenna, horn antenna, parabolic reflector antenna. So next we may see about the antenna characterization. So the antenna characterizations, these are the 5 fundamental parameters is there. What are the 5 fundamental parameters? The main parameters of the antenna. So the antenna performance is depending upon the following parameters. That is the directivity, power pattern, antenna gain, effective area, antenna efficiency. These are the fundamental parameters of the antenna. So the antenna performance is depending upon the following parameters also. Okay, so generally the radiation pattern means it is a mathematical function or graphical representation of the radiation properties of the antenna as a function of a space coordinates. And the directivity means it's some formula we can use it to calculate the directivity. So these are the parameters to analyze and the performance of the antenna. Okay, thank you.